Less than 2 weeks before the general election, there was a church in Mississippi that was set on fire. Now, a lot of attention was paid to this situation because of the fact that someone had spray painted "Vote Trump" on the building. Now, the damage was so bad that they couldn't salvage the building. They're going to have to tear it down and rebuild it. But now we know who set the church on fire. It was a man by the name of Andrew McClinton from Greenville, Mississippi. And apparently he is one of the parishioners at the church.
So this story has a couple of twists, right? So I remember when we covered this story in the first place, we were enraged by it. And of course, this church has been around over 100 years. And there's a great history of black churches being attacked and burnt down. And it's horrific. Sometimes there's bombings that happen inside the church. 4 young kids being killed in Alabama during the civil rights era, et cetera. So when you see something like this, it looks like an act of terrorism, right? So now you let the authorities look into it. It turns out it wasn't somebody from the outside. It was actually a parishioner.
Yes.
And it doesn't appear to be racial because the church is black and the parishioner is black, right? So that's twist number one. And that happens from time to time for a number of different reasons, right? And then the second twist is he wrote "Vote Trump," yet they think it might not have been political.
Yes.
That's weird. And then the third twist is he might have meant it. He liked Trump's Facebook page and might have been a Trump supporter.
Yeah, so right now there's very little that we know in terms of his motives, right? So at first when I read the headline, I thought, oh, so he's just trying to frame Trump supporters, which is a disgusting thing to do. You don't frame people like that. I don't care what your political, ideology is. Especially
what
this
if somebody
way, right?
was inside the church, let alone the fact that don't burn down a church?
Yeah, so I got angry, and then I read into it a little further, and I realized, well, there's a lot that we don't know. First of all, the officials are the ones who came out and said that this is not politically motivated. Okay, so they know more than we do, so we'll see how this plays out.
Maybe the guy is touched, right?
Well, he's been in trouble with the law countless times before for robbery, and I'll give you a list of that in just a minute. But I also want to be clear that just because he liked Donald Trump's page on Facebook doesn't mean that he's a Donald Trump fan. It's a possibility. Now, he only liked a handful of pages on Facebook, Donald Trump's, and then some Christian pages. But that was it.
So, and let me be further clear about the two Trump things. First of all, I follow Donald Trump on Twitter, so I can get his absurd, insane tweets and laugh all day long. Okay, that doesn't mean I like Donald Trump, so super fair point on that. Although I don't like his Facebook page, and maybe he's a news junkie, who knows, right? Second of all, following someone doesn't mean you agree with them or they agree with you. This has nothing to do with Trump. So Trump didn't ask this guy to burn down a church. It's not on him at all, right? And yeah, Anna, it seemed to us that it was right before the election, so it's the kind of thing that either a Trump supporter would do to intimidate African Americans, or a guy like this, you think, who's a parishioner in that church, might do it to motivate African Americans to vote. Look at what they're doing to you, right? But maybe because he has a track record of stealing things, maybe he stole something from the church but burned it down to cover it up and writes "Vote Trump" to make it seem like it's political. Maybe he's crazy. Maybe, so let the authorities sort that out. But it doesn't make it any better that it was a parishioner. You could argue that it makes it worse.
No, it makes it, yeah. I mean, look, it's terrible regardless. But I am curious to see why he did this, and hopefully the story develops and we'll fill you in on it.
If you like some of the political stories we do on the show, you're going to love Aggressive Progressive. Get that show just for members at tytnetwork.com/join. That was a good one.